Hello collective, welcome to the channel. It is February 21st, 2026. The time is 5:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. It is Saturday. I've been up for a while. Woke up with some stuff going on. We got some active masculines in the unseen space. So, somebody mentioned ISIS. They're saying it has to be ISIS. Now, ISIS is the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, a transnational Salafi jihadist militant organization. So, could be that. But when I heard the name ISIS, I was thinking about the goddess Isis. So, I thought that it was the major Egyptian goddess of magic, motherhood, fertility, and healing. These masculines may believe that you are a reincarnation. And now that this is brought up, I'm curious to know if that is why this jihadist militant organization decided to use that acronym, because they wanted to taint the idea of the mother. So somebody said it's a learning process. But the curator says she needs the medicine. He keeps saying she needs it, she needs it, she needs it. But what he means is he needs it, he needs it, he needs it. He looks at her as the antidote for whatever ails him. He thinks of this mother as Miss Fix-It to all of the shit that he got wrong. He wants her soul value. He needs to feed on her. He has no value unless he consumes her, and he feels that by consuming her, he becomes just like her. However, this dude has been consuming the vital force of souls from earth angels for centuries, and he was not able, he and all his collective of sorcerer, coven, freaking whatever, weren't able to destroy this one woman. They gave her the impossible path, and all of them were unable to make it stick, right? So, he is desperate to reinstate the illusion of his value. He needs to consume a powerful force. He and his religious bros want her energy and her God-granted covenants and authority. One masculine said he got a vision, but I didn't get to hear what that was. There is a lot of argument. The curator insists his claim, she needs medicine, is valid. He's pushing lies. Human beings use medicine because they were driven into a toxic environment and then a sick care masquerade of healthy solutions, right? They weren't permitted to utilize the medical insurance that they're forced to purchase every paycheck for holistic medicines, health care. They were driven into this system, and he insists that she needs it, needs it, needs it. No, he needs the antidote of a trapped and toxified, suffering soul, so that he can suck the life out of it and then pretend that those gifts and that energy and that love and all that good stuff actually belongs to him. But it doesn't. He's an interdimensional pirate, an interstellar pirate. All that she or anyone really needs is a non-toxic environment. No more poison in the food, no more poison in the water, no more poison sprayed in the air, no more freaking spraying all this, what is it? What did they put in that? The cloud seeding crap. Barium, a whole bunch of crap goes into this cloud seeding stuff. And it's sprayed all the time, as well as heavy metals. So those go into the soil, and then it's sucked up by the roots of the trees and the plants, and then those veins of those plants and those trees become full of those heavy metals. So when they light on fire, they burn just like a zinc cord wick, a candle wick, and it burns real hot. So they need, what she needs, what he needs, what the divine beings need is a non-toxic environment and parasitical cleanses on the regular. These entities are parasitical. I really feel that that is one reason why ivermectin was banned during this COVID thing, because it would have interfered with the parasitical connections that they have with their human hosts. Their agenda was to get their medicine into you without allowing you to use the actual medicine that would have interfered with this parasitical thing. So, another masculine is saying that she doesn't know how to take care of herself. She needs a better diet, and she needs to start exercising. He says that they can get a lot more out of her that way. He literally said that they can harvest more out of her if she has a better diet and exercises. So these are religious energy harvesters. This one faction of this group is trying to convince the overlords or those in authority of this group that they should let this woman in. They feel that she is necessary, her energy is necessary to bring healing to their crap. They see her as an antidote to their disgusting ways of managing life. These religious men are debating on whether to permit this woman access to their utopia. They say she's necessary. They need her to heal the damages that they have done. The other day, I heard the curator say regarding this, well, what about me? And they said, don't worry, you'll be okay. In a couple of years after the healing work is done, and they've harvested whatever they needed and transferred her soul out, that they'll throw her back out and he can torture her to his heart's content. So they want to get her in there, get a relationship, get her to heal shit, and then they want to transfer her soul value and shit out, and then claim that covenant and all that authority, and then boot her out into the hell realm once more, so that this Samuel or Satan or whatever can then torture this being. They're looking to harvest energy. They need fuel for their golden utopia. They failed to harvest the collective with their magic. They failed to sacrifice them with their death magic. It's like God returned everything. It's like instant return. They hate this woman's attitude. They hate the feminine's attitude. These sex traffickers complain a lot about the mother's attitude. They insist that only a man can have authority. Why? Because their greatest profit scheme is trafficking the womb of power, abusing the mother and all of the life, all of the souls that come through the portal of the womb. These men want control of that gate, that portal. They don't want the woman to be recognized as the one who says life can move through her or not. They want to take it. Make it. And again, these ones, these nasties who are trying to convince these gatekeepers or whatever, we can get a lot more out of her if she eats properly and exercises. We can harvest more energy, right? So that's what they've been doing last cycle. You've probably been single, and these nasty invisible effers, these religious bastards, have been astral projecting in your home and harvesting off of you. They think if they allow you the opportunity to eat right and exercise, rather than trying to destroy you, that they can harvest more. But the religious gatekeepers or whatever are saying, F that, they don't like her attitude, and they just want to harvest her now. It's not worth it to deal with her. Just take it, whatever she has now. But they're complaining because if they transfer her now, then they're going to transfer everyone and every energy that she's connected to, which could be a problem for them. Because if they try to transfer her into them or them into her, then everything she's connected to, her protector, her new family, her new spiritual spouse, all this stuff, God, Goddess, will all be there, present. These ones, they're trying to discuss a way, or they're discussing a way to try to separate this woman from this new family, to get her rejected or to get her to reject them, to get them somehow separated. They're asking each other, well, how did we do it last time? So they're really trying to figure out how to harness this energy. Now, the Divine Mother, the Royal Mother, who speaks royal and truth, the vibration of her, the frequency is truth. And she stated that these ones will not be obtaining this woman, and that they will not survive trying. So, they want this woman's powerful energy. The higher-ups in this religious organization do not want her present. She's too powerful, too sovereign, too connected, and too psychic, too free of their authority. She manages her own life. She moves through this world connected to source, and there's a resonant power in this vessel, and they just want that. Then they want to they want to recycle this woman's personality and everything else besides the covenants, the authorities, the gatekeeper positions, and the lawmaker positions, all of this stuff. They want to be the guru, but they lack every moral value. They have no value. There's no value in their soul. They're talking about elevating their own frequency, because all they've been doing is harvesting light and life out of others. They've not been trying to add value to their own soul at all. And they've been trying to tell everybody else that they're a loser, incapable, unworthy. Now they want to switch up their story, and they want to feed you right and exercise and pretend to love so they can harvest even more when they transfer. This energy, this powerful woman's energy, has already been committed and devoted to an upper dimensional system, a family system. There are two tribes in this soprano system or space that have united. The lion and the jaguar have united. The root and the crown have bridged. God has reclaimed this earth angel, resurrected her, led her into an ascension, and then matched her to her new and improved match. These ones think that that match is a psycho. Well, she's a very high dimensional being, and the higher you go, the bigger the boogeyman gets. And maybe The boogeyman is her spouse. Maybe light has met shadow, the lion and the jaguar. A female said, better get a lawyer, better get a lawyer. Somebody said that he wasted energy. He wasted everybody's energy. Cocky, arrogant, powerful. Wasted everybody's energy. These guys are speaking of outdoorsmen. 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 Well, that would be what? Hunters, fishermen, campers, people who spend a lot of time outdoors. It could be those who are loggers, those who work in the forests. Take it as it resonates. They're talking about outdoorsmen. It could be those who are homeless. They're asking if she is protective. So this magistrate, this territory, which is autonomous, so they are cutting ties with the world who has participated in this trafficking system of women and the souls that come through the portal of the womb, and the men who have been chemically castrated and gender altered through water poisoning, and like atrazine has been added to the water. Synthetic estrogen has been added to all of the canned goods and whatnot. So they're asking if she's protective, and they want to come into this territory and hunt innocence and purity, the souls of this territory's family. And the magistrate is the lawmaker, and also, yes, she's protective. She's not doing any business with sex traffickers, with slavers, with anybody who's been sucking the vitality out of the family, anybody who's been driving insanity through the mental body with this stupid Microsoft, Hulu streaming soap opera crap. Yeah, anybody who's been doing that. So the technology is probably going away. So where she might be signing off with the freaking AI system, because it is trying to bond itself with the organic life, and she wants to protect the minds, the souls, the energy, all of that, the spiritual inheritance, by not allowing a freaking entity that is using a human flesh suit as an avatar to mate, procreate, and steal the spiritual wealth out of humanity. These nasty men feeding on humanity. They're talking about this woman's destiny, and they're objecting about her responsibility. These nasty human traffickers of women and children object to the mother, a divine feminine, being in this leadership role. Her responsibility is to get these nasty traffickers out of the house of the children, to evict them out of the territory of this family's children. And this woman has gone through thousands of years of birth and death, brutal tragedy and trauma inflicted upon her soul and life from these ones. While they stole her honor cycle after cycle after cycle. And I'm speaking in the micro, but this is macro. There's all of the divine feminine throughout the land have been treated in such a fashion, unless they came on board, or unless they're like the clones or those entities that are masquerading as humans, wearing the human suit, bodysuit as an avatar. This magistrate, who is the planetary lawmaker, universal gatekeeper, dignitary, God-appointed representative universally voted upon and agreed upon. She's the representative. But you got this realm's religious people and these vampiric harvesters, these traffickers. They want her as part of their inventory. And, so it's interesting. She's objecting to their profit system of the suffering human family, the entire family of original organic life. These mutant men have always insisted the woman, the mother, is nothing. And they feel that way because they're frauds. They're like otherworldly entities using a human suit as an avatar to enslave, abuse, rape, traffic, feed on, molest, drain the spiritual bank account on, use it as a bridge and a connector to the upper dimensional spaces and bring war to these upper dimensional spaces. It's just a woman. Yeah. And your life is nothing. These little things that think it's just a woman, this giver of life, they should forfeit their life if they have such a little value for she who gives it. They insist that her powerful force, that the Most High Divine entrusted her with, the portal of souls, belongs to the woman, the mother. She says who gets to be born and who doesn't. But you got these nasty jacks who are interdimensional travelers, and they've got these pods that they can grow babies in. Or they just kidnap the beautiful youngers off of the streets and then use them as birthing people. And that's why they call us birthing people now, because they've enslaved a whole bunch and put them in these little cages or whatever in the freaking tunnels and use them as birthing people. They do weird freaking mating things to get these weird mixes. They insist that God, the Most High God, who met with the universal or even maybe the multiversal leaders of systems, and they all agreed that this high divine feminine is worthy of the powerful force she creates within herself. She's worthy of this position because these nasty jacks, no matter how many, one or more or others, no matter how big they are, they can't overcome this woman. She's beaten at least 2 of their world records. None of them can overcome her. Even before her secret power or all these other things were added unto her, even when she was in her most weakest, vulnerable state, and all these thousands of nasty freaking jacks were doing magic on her, they could not take her out. This person who does not do magic, they simply imbued by the life of all that is. And these ones are afraid of her. These traffickers of human souls are afraid of the power within this woman, and they insist that it must be a man because they want to continue profiting in the way that they have been doing. And she's going to put a stop to it, supported by the Most High Mother Father and the universal or multiversal system of leaders. They spit in the face of these authorities. They insist men must be in charge because this prostitution ring runs throughout the universe. And God doesn't want that to happen anymore. So he put the mother in charge. He's lifted her back into her status of dignity. He's giving the mother back her dignity. He's giving her back her voice. These nasty jacks are a failed experiment. And there's a recycling going on right now. So he put the mother in charge, and she is protective over the life, over the souls, over the minds of the children. These nasty freaking mutant men, they gotta stay away. And their little Jezebel helpers gotta stay away too. They're telling themselves that they have to be patient. So they're in the community, they're in the territory, they're masquerading as someone that they are not, while they are patiently waiting for their opportunity to get this woman aside and actually transfer her. These ones are talking about restitution and prophecy. The curator is talking about somebody's husband, and somebody asked another, what are you afraid of? They're paranoid about this divine feminine stepping into this role of universal representative here in this earth school. The earth school has a divine feminine in the seat of authority right now. And these brutalizing masculines who've been getting off on torturing babies and children and women and turning the men into Jezebels. They've been getting off on that big time. And now God is like, okay, well, you guys are a failed experiment. Obviously, the masculines weren't able to defend against this invasion. So they're a failed experiment. And now God is giving the divine feminine authority, raising her back up into her status of dignity. And these men are so mad. They failed, man. And they're mad. They're being asked, what are you afraid of? Well, what they're afraid of is that they're RAPists. And that the mother's not going to put up with it. The divine feminine is not going to put up with the presence of pedophiles and RAPists in the territory. Absolutely not. They will be punished. And that is why they're afraid. Because they know who they are. And they know what they have done. And they know what their intentions are. Still. And they know what she will do. Fully supported by God and by the universal council. Multiversal council. So what are they afraid of? Well, that is it. They're afraid of retribution that was prophesied. They're afraid of the mother's retribution, fully supported by God and the universal or multiversal supreme council. These ones have been robbing Star Nation soul tribes for centuries and sending up replacements to destroy family trees and loyalty. So these nasty men are talking about someone or someones that are incestuous. And it could be that those who are incestuous are being evicted. There's restitution and prophecy. They're in effing trouble, man, for RAPing their children. Animals don't even do that to their babies. These are not men. These are interdimensional or interstellar species using a human flesh suit as an avatar to try to destroy humanity and siphon out all of the spiritual wealth and gifts belonging to their rainbow soul in covenant with the Most High Creator, Mother, Father. They view humans as a commodity, as chattel for harvest. They feed on us. Their favorite weapon of war is relationship, reckless sex. These entities, are wearing masks as humans while feeding on them. We're an energy supply. So these ones are telling each other that they have to be patient. They need to hide in the shadows. They need to blend in, build relationships, gain the trust before they pounce, capture, and transfer this woman out. Like, I don't know how they do that. I've seen the movies, though, where one person, like two people, like switch bodies. It's kind of like what they want to do with this woman. That's what it sounds like anyway. They want to claim her body and identity, her temple. They're talking about a hammer. So, a few months back, they sent a man with a hammer to my house. It wasn't a claw hammer. It was a ball ping, whatever you call those hammers that don't have the actual claw. It's just like a ball, whatever. So I've got a busy street here, right? I'm at an intersection, and he comes walking up from the stop sign, and he's walking. He's got this hammer in his hand, and he's walking, and he comes up to my house, and he looks into my garage, and my father and I are in there unloading firewood, right? And he looks at me, and he looks at my dad, and he did an about face, started walking the other direction, and here comes a vehicle, and he gets into the vehicle, and they speed off. So the dude was sent to my house to whack me with a hammer. And you know the thing about that is that like 3 minutes later, here comes an SUV, and on the passenger side there's a kid in the front and the back of this vehicle, a boy and a girl, about 10, 12 years old. They got their windows rolled down, and as they drove by my house, the boy sticks his head out the window, and he's like, and the girl's laughing in the back seat. And then they see me standing there watching them, and it's like, oh, and they rolled up the windows, and then they walked. So this was a hit. And they were bringing their kids by to view the chaos. So they're talking about a hammer. Maybe God sent somebody with a hammer to them. They're talking about destiny swapping. They may want to hit somebody with a hammer to get them into South Node pain and suffering so that they can dismantle or jar the firm set of their soul and spirit into this North Node energy. Destiny swapping. Somebody is talking about this woman's compassion, and the others are talking about her attitude. These are sex traffickers of women and children. They violate the soul of human beings in the most heinous way. And they complain about this woman's attitude. They hate her. All of them. These entities using a human vessel as an avatar hate humanity. They dislike this woman's attitude because she is firm in her sovereignty. And she's powerful, recognized multiversally, and by the Most High creators, divine. Even if they agree to allow this woman in to their utopia, they will betray her. They have told this curator that after 2 years of working with her, building relationship, loving her, perhaps even being her lover or her husband, they want to sacrifice her and throw her back into the hell realms so that he can torture her again. This is one of their secret little conversations. He was like, what about me? What about me? Oh, don't worry, man. We're going to send her back to you as soon as we get done using her. They will betray her if she agrees to go and work with them, because it's a relationship, it's an energetic entanglement, it's an invitation for their need. They need this energy as an antidote because they don't have any value. They need to harvest this value, and they need to convince it to go with them. But first they have to convince their leaders to let this woman in. If they transfer her, then they transfer all of the family, the two families that have joined, the lion and the jaguar, into this space, this utopia. And that means that these men who feel that they're kind of like the bigwigs of this space, they don't want to do that because, she's sovereign, and there's two big tribes of sovereign, powerful beings who will claim this utopia. So they don't want to do that. They just want to harvest her right now. And that's a big no. They will always be a threat to souls of those who carry the golden light of the sun within them. They harvest it. That's how they created their utopia. They have no soul value in and of themselves. They just don't. And they have no rainbow covenant holder covenant. That belongs to this woman or these women and those who support them, those divine masculines that are protecting them. This coven of men want the essence of a divine feminine, but they don't want to try and manage themselves around her personality and source-connected sovereignty. They won't be able to manage themselves in her presence. She's too powerful. She's too certain in this source connection. She's better than they are, more powerful than they are. She generates energy a lot more than they do. And if she eats right and exercises, she's going to generate more. There's going to be more. And what she is presently is too much for them. They want to burn her up again. They say that because there's medicine, these synthetic medicines in her temple, her body, that it has to go into the fire. They have put this woman in the fire many times. Confession right out of the curator's mouth or his brain, whatever. They've burned her alive many times, and they want to do it again because they're too afraid of her power and authority, her multiversal, approved, voted upon, and elected as representative, dignitary, magistrate, universal gatekeeper, planetary gatekeeper. These guys can't compete. All they can do is red rum and cling with their technology and their magic. They can't compete. They cannot compete with a woman who did not even know that she was in a competition, who was stripped of everything, cut off from everyone, shut down in every way that they thought they could do. And then they set her on an impossible path. And they all attacked her. In my instance, they all ran insanity through my mind over 20 years. As well as car accidents, homelessness, catastrophes that we all go through. They want to harvest those God-gifted earnings, those rewards. They need relationship, partnership. They need to get on your ship. Your ships have come in, and they need to get on your ships. Now, these religious people, they don't want you in their utopia because you and your family that's connected to you will take it over, and then they'll be out. So that's out of the question. But they want to try to harvest you before that because you got this powerful energy and you've got all this authority. So they're not warring with you. They're warring with God and the multiverse of supreme counselors that hold it all together, who voted you as representative. They're not coming against you. They're coming against a multiverse of powerful creators that have elected you. But they need a relationship or a partnership in order to claim your temple and your identity. They want to amplify your supply, to learn from you how to get their own energy activated, to perhaps love you. They feel they can get more energy out of you if you eat right and exercise. It's either a living harvest or a dead harvest. They don't really care either way. They do, however, some of them want to learn from you, whereas their elders or whatever just want to harvest you because they're afraid of you. They say that your personality and your attitude aren't worth the effort, and they should just harvest your soul value now as it is. This woman is just an energy source to them, a spiritual bank account of wealth. They're talking about pain and anniversary. These ones have confessed in the past that they marry divine beings, and on the first year anniversary, they sacrifice and replace them for profit. They harvest them for gain. They abandon love, betray love. They unalive love. Look it right in the face after spending a year sleeping with it and professing their love and devotion. They stick a knife in it. They unalive it and harvest it. Give it to the devil. They throw it in the trash. And they use the soul as a bridge and a connector to the upper dimensional spaces as servants of Satan, and they bring war there, using the trapped essence of an angel as their secret weapon. These are low-life cheaters, using relationship and marriage to bring war with the creator, the mother, father of the human species. There's at least 4 men having a discussion regarding harvest of divine feminine. They're talking about an STD, and they're talking about gingivitis, as though their target has it. What? They need to get an sexual encounter. What's going on? They have an STD. They don't want to kiss you. You got some gingivitis. What the hell do they care? Except their sacrifices have to be innocent, right? And maybe this gingivitis, or maybe this medicine, or maybe whatever it is you got going on. I don't know. These foul little jackwagons. They're telling each other that it has to be a relationship in order to get this transfer, this inheritance. They see this woman's energy and gifts as their prize. They don't like her personality. They don't like her firm and solid sense of self, her powerful sovereignty, her free will, speaking authentically and transparently. They want her afraid, and they're upset that she's not. They despise her. But they see her as the big prize. They think of her as a commodity that they are excited about possessing and using to empower their own lives. They want to harvest this powerful woman and then suck it up and then pretend that they themselves are genuinely, naturally that. They think love makes a woman weak. And these ones have turned the mother's empathy to apathy. They have proven themselves of no value and no importance. They don't add anything of benefit to anyone. They extract it out of everyone. They left this woman alone to fend for herself. They abandoned her. Apparently, they prostituted her energy. They left her to heal and to become what it is she is, all by herself. They did not help in any way. Their sacrifice went wrong. They were not able to renew their contract. God came in and separated them from the energy. And now they want to harvest her again. These hateful, low vibrational traffickers of purity, these harvesters of souls, these traitors to humanity, these premeditated, red-rumming thieves of divinity. They steal the divine feminine's gifts and authorities, God-given authorities, her honor, every time at the gate, at the crossroads. And they boot her out and siphon it up and say, ooh, I am this, and they never were. They're just a red-rumming RAPS trafficker thief. An interdimensional or interstellar species wearing a human vessel as an avatar. They're not really human. They're just here harvesting, pretending, acting. They're very good actors and actresses. They don't have a chakra system. If they do, then it's because they have stepped in to somebody else's body and then commanded that temple. But they can't seem to get the messaging right. Like, they can tap into other people's consciousness and receive their messaging and then try to translate those messages. But they're not the original soul that is coded to receive those messages. So all last cycle, they've been leading people down a path of incoherency because they're misinterpreting the messaging. God elevated divine feminine as the universal gatekeeper, planetary lawmaker, the nurturer, the portal of souls. She's a dignitary. She is that authority. All of the original women with wombs have that authority to either allow or not access to this realm. These men want her under their feet or in the grave. Their fire once more. Their little glowing red pit of burning hell that many of you have already crawled up out of multiple times. They're telling each other they like this one and they want to harvest. They want to transfer soul value and identity. They want to do a technology, identity, and temple swap. They are concerned because if they transfer her, they will transfer everyone and everything connected to her. Her protections, her new family ties. So they're discussing how are they going to get them separated from her before they do this. They don't know how. The curator is assuring them that she needs medicine, and they feel that that gives them the right, regardless of what the upper dimensional, multiversal, supreme council of things that have agreed that she is the representative and the universal gatekeeper. This curator is going against everybody, saying they have a right to steal her life and all of the authority that the multiversal supreme counselors and leaders have given her. This little POS is going up against the entirety of the system of the universe that has placed this woman in this position. These religious men and these harvester invasive species masquerading as humans. They're losing their home here. It was never their home in the first place. We've got some shape-shifting, really good actors. They speak so sweet. Boy, they can really pretend to love you. And they are genuinely excited about getting your energy to increase so that they can harvest even more. Oh yeah. They can't produce it for themselves because they lack what it takes to be that. At the very most, all they can do is unalive somebody and then harvest it and dress up in it and pretend. And they seem to be satisfied with that. These fraudulent folk. They seem to be satisfied with that. So the curator is assuring them that she needs medicine, and he feels confident in there being it being their privilege and their solution to harvest, to get rid of her personality while stripping out her covenants and her God-given authority for themselves. They want to possess the God-given authority. They want to call themselves chosen representative of the multiverse. Somebody is telling this curator that she's innocent and she can do whatever she wants to do and that she is necessary. They want to claim everything that she is except her personality because of her attitude regarding their fraudulent authority. They are threatened by the truth of a divine sovereign woman or women. She doesn't like being treated like a commodity by a bunch of arrogant traffickers of the power of the womb, the portal of souls, red rumming, authority thieving, needless feeders, stealing people's purpose and their destiny, forcing them into cycle after cycle of stagnancy and suffering. So we've got a collective of pimps wanting to present themselves as some sort of planetary authority. They're using religion and magic. These ones have been stealing rewards from initiates at the gate, at the end of cycles. Their authority is false. They did not earn this gatekeeper position. They stole it from somebody who had, and then pushed them back through another cycle of stagnancy. So may they never obtain this woman's essence or presence. May none of their affairs be fueled by her upper dimensional essence or authority, or anybody's. They claim she is necessary, and at the same time, they discuss transferring her soul value, harvesting her, ending her life, and her opportunity to exist in the position that God has given her. These men. These ones who sound like men are not men. These are mutant parasites wearing a man's suit, harvesting the power of the divine feminines, and these men and those men that they can flip into more of a feminine existence. These ones are fighting over the possessions of the commodity known as an earth angelic being, their soul and their merchandise. This curator and his friends think that they own all of the soul value of all of humans and all of the animals that are here. They think every ounce of life belongs to them. Because, and the sad thing is that there is no life in them. They cannot increase their own frequency, or they have not even tried. They're very, very low vibrational and brutal, manipulative, thieves. There is something about synchronizing. They're talking about a downward spiral. And there's something about the airports right now. Now, as of late February 2026, the U.S. airports are experiencing significant widespread delays due to a combination of severe weather and air traffic control restraints. Now, we're going through a shift. Everything is being reset, and I really feel that the airports have been allowed to deteriorate with all of their systems and such because air travel is going away in this new chapter. The borders are going to be firmed up. Everybody's going to be doing their thing, and these nasty jacks say they're going to come back. They're going to give it time. They got to be patient so that they can sneak into the territory as a fun-loving, friendly ghost. They're talking about heaven, and they're talking about a conspiracy. They're talking about language barriers, and they're talking about an avatar. Language barriers. This magistrate's new territory apparently has got its own language, and it's got about 30 to 40 words, according to the curator. Nobody really knows what they're saying. They're having trouble deciphering the language. So there's language barriers, and they're talking about avatars. So they need a human avatar, and they need to get into this system, this territory. But there's language barriers. They don't know the language. These entities are using what appears to be human flesh suits as avatars. And they are here gathering intelligence on our species, while at the same time interbreeding and draining the spiritual bank accounts and the wealth of the species and all of their upper dimensional Star Nation soul tribes. They're talking about some kind of confirmation. And again, they're talking about what seems to be the backdoor entry of someone's home, entering into a laundry room. You might want to fortify your locks, your securities, all of that. These masculines are talking about inventory. And on the 18th of February, Epstein was stated wanting to gather more inventory. And then we had that stupid thing at the shipyards in Genova where they were moving around those shipping containers, and there were screaming children in them. Could be connected. The unseen are calling it a Genova crisis. The other day, also on February 18th, they stated that the cardinal had his destination locked in. These ones want your source connection to the upper dimensional spaces and the knowledge that these spaces hold. They want to harvest or obtain the vessel housing spirit and soul to use as a connector and bridge into God's upper dimensional spaces and places within the kingdom. The kingdom that they have not been invited into. They were not given Rainbow Covenant. They were not offered entry. They see you as their inheritance, and they want to obtain your vessel as a bridge and a connector into your graduation dimensional space, and they want to claim all of your authorities while doing that. So anyhow, that's the message, and I hope that it brings clarity to something you already intuitively knew, and I'll see you on the next one, everybody. Bye.